Nissan Xterra USA Championship is the culmination of 50-point series races staged across the United States. The world's elite off-road specialists, both professional and amateur athletes, drawn to the pristine shores of Lake Tahoe to battle for the title of national champion.
10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds.
An underwater Xterra battlefield where flailing limbs become unintended weapons in the wind-whipped cold of Lake Tahoe. Nobody gets through this without choking down a few mouthfuls of water. Survival tactic number one, get ahead of the pack. Legendary Olympic triathlete Barb Lindquist in her Xterra debut.
Well, the swim is a mass start, which is something that I'm not used to, racing with a whole bunch of age groupers. So it'll be really important to get out to the first buoy quickly. So that I'm not getting beat up by some of the other faster like age group guys. And I just really want to find clean water and think to myself, long and strong, long and strong. That's all I'll be saying to myself.
As the lead group rounds the first buoy, right there with them, and she's the lone female, it's Barb Lindquist. Gliding through the waves into first position, Spain's Enrico Llanos. He's a two-time Xterra world champion and Olympic triathlete. But can he deliver today? Or will a recent injury hold him back from defending his title in this race?
Last year was a special year for me because I raced in the Olympics in Athens. So after the Olympics, I decided to have some fun and to do races I really wanted to do. So I came here and surprisingly for me, I felt very good during all the race and I won the race. So for me it was a fantastic race. 6 months ago, I was injured. I have a bad shin splints here. So I had to stop running. I had to stop also for 2-3 weeks from biking and swimming, and I couldn't run for almost 4 months. And then I just started again, incorporating my running to my training. Before the race, I never think of doing a first or second or third. I just think, I think in doing my best, going as fast as I can, and then on race day we will see what happens.
Fronting Lake Tahoe's Hyatt Regency Resort in Incline Village, Xterra swimmers braving 60-degree water temperatures and choppy conditions. The 28-year-old Llanos, only footsteps ahead of Canadian Brent McMahon and American Seth Wheeling as they head into the final lap of the swim. South Africa's finest multi-sport machine, Conrad Stoltz, a full minute behind the leaders. One lap finished, one more to go. The world's best in off-road competition, the Nissan Xterra USA Championship. Nissan created this challenge to pit nature's elements against human perseverance. pushing the evolution of off-road multi-sport events. Now, there are 50 Xterra events nationwide, making up the Nissan Xterra USA Championship Series, giving amateurs a chance to qualify for the U.S. Championship in Lake Tahoe and World Championship on Maui. Great recognition and support for weekend warriors by Nissan. The Nissan Xterra USA Championship is presented by Nissan, who invite you to shift the way you move through the world. Paul Mitchell. Remember, only your salon can guarantee the real Paul Mitchell. And by Nevada. Wide open. The Nissan Xterra USA Championship. Lake Tahoe with unexpectedly cool and windy conditions. A rough water swim for even the most skilled professional. And the one to leave the lake first, Spain's Eneko Llanos. The lead pack on his heels. Among them, first woman out, Barb Lindquist. She's a full minute 30 ahead of the next pro woman. Battling for second position, Brent McMahon, Chad Seymour, and Seth Wheeling. Conrad Stoltz coming out in the second group, more than a minute behind the leaders. Heading into the bike segment of the competition, a body-warming quarter-mile sprint to the transition area. Canadian Olympic triathlete Brent McMahon is usually number one out of the water, but it is the first time this season he's had to contend with Spaniard Eneko Llanos.
Earlier in the series, I've led out every race I've done. So, you know, at Tahoe, there's going to be some other racers here that can swim well, but I still think I'm one of the strongest swimmers, so I plan to be out in the front and leading it out of the swim.
McMahon needs every inch he can gain on the bike to stay ahead of Llanos. Barb Lindquist knows she has a sizable lead over her challengers, but she's not about to let down her guard. A formidable cyclist, Lindquist has only had her mountain bike for 3 months, and Xterra is a whole new off-road game.
Well, God's blessed me with an amazing career, and I really feel like I've done everything. I've won sprint races, all the major non-drafting races in the U.S., World Cup, been ranked #1, longer than any male or female. Done halves, done Hawaii Ironman, represented the U.S. in the Olympics, but the only thing that I haven't done is an Xterra race. And since I'm retiring in 6 weeks, I thought this was the perfect opportunity to race.
Well done, well done!
Canadian Mike Vine, a strong swimmer, until a kick to the face ripped away his goggles and slowed him down. South African Conrad Stoltz was the undisputed king of this race course for 3 straight years, until last year when he suffered an unexpected loss to newcomer Eneko Llanos. Overextended both mentally and physically, juggling the demands of the Olympic Games and the Xterra Series. For the very first time, Conrad Stoltz wasn't winning anymore.
The reason why I do this sport is because I enjoy it and I'm passionate about it. And after 3 years of being on top all the time, a lot of pressure was added to me where I had to perform, and the pressure was from mostly myself because I've been becoming used to winning, but also sponsors and supporters and other athletes, and it adds a lot of stress. And eventually I realized that I was racing not because I was enjoying it, but I was racing to win. So this is what I'm reading at the moment. Some more reading material. It was kind of hard to say goodbye to road triathlon and the Olympic Games and maybe future hopes of the Olympic Games. But Xterra is really my passion and it's what I really enjoy, and it's also my forte. So this year I put everything I had physically and emotionally into Xterra. And so far it's paid off. It's been really good, and it's been really fun coming back. And I've won the series 3 times before, and being able to win a 4th series would really be very special for me.
24-year-old Brent McMahon's slim lead over Spain's Eneco Llanos is short-lived, and they've got 32 kilometers to go. Mike Vine more than 3 minutes behind Llanos. Going to have to play a fierce game of catch-up if he wants to remain a serious contender. Eneco Llanos at the start of what he hopes will be a long and lonely climb. Canadian Melanie McQuaid has never won this race before. She has overhauled her training techniques and is confident this will be her year. Right beside her, American Candy Angle, the former Xterra world champion, could run away with it. But the real battle is between McQuaid and American Jamie Whitmore. These two women have traded first and second finishes throughout the Xterra Championship Series. It's a winner-take-all for the national title. But first, they're going to have to run down Barb Lindquist, and she's not going to give it up without a fight. Rural Nevada is fast becoming a mecca for adventure travelers. The variety of the state's offerings are highlighted each year in the Nevada Passage Adventure Competition. Try it for yourself in May 2006 with a special open competition for everyday athletes. For more information, go to nevadapassage.com. Take 2 top-ranked professional triathletes with wickedly competitive personalities. And what have you got? Xterra's most talked-about rivalry, the Jamie and Melanie story.
It's always healthy to have competition, but there's healthy competition and there's unhealthy competition. Melanie and myself, it's not a healthy competition.
The cat fight between me and Jamie is only just it's a rivalry that's existed because we've both been at the top of the sport for a number of years. And so because of that, it just has been sensationalized into a cat fight because isn't it great to think that, 2 chicks might be fighting.
I think cat fights are easy amongst women. We're easy targets. We feed into it.
I admire how consistent Jamie is. Jamie always comes to races with her A game, and I've just never seen her have a really bad race.
I think Melanie's performance has improved, period, this year. I don't think, winning at altitude is really the factor this year. I think she's figured out how I've been so successful, and now she's applied that.
I think that we're alike in that we're both very, very competitive people. We have some athletic similarities and we have some personality similarities. But I think that we definitely come from a different place when we come to the sport. I think that, we have very different backgrounds and we have a different approach to the sport.
I think that Melanie and I are 2 very different people with different values, different morals.
I would hope that at the end of it all, we could be good friends.
No, I would probably never hang out with her outside of being next to her in a race.
The one thing that we do for each other is push each other. And I think that, I need her to keep pushing me as hard as I have been pushed because otherwise we're not staying in front of everybody else. So thanks, Jamie, for keeping us fast, really.
an off-road wilderness challenge, the Nissan Xterra USA Championship. A 2,500-foot leg-burning ride all the way to the top. 8,700 feet above sea level. Spain's Eneco Llanos, his pace unmatched, growing the distance on the rugged uphill climb. Canadian Brent McMahon holding on to second. He isn't going to let the lead slip through his fingers that easily. Third man on the bike course, American Seth Wheeling, trailed by Frenchman Olivier Marceau. Bringing up the rear, South Africa's Conrad Stoltz. Barb Lindquist. At 36 years young, she is arguably the most accomplished female triathlete around. But Xterra off-road racing is something new. Incredibly, she has logged just 7 hours on the mountain bike before this race. Canadian Mike Vine, making up ground. Several years ago, Vine was a rising Xterra star. But in 2002, he was knocked out of competitive racing when the IOC issued a 2-year suspension for a doping violation. Back on the Xterra circuit this year, Mike Vine has something to prove, to the racing community and to himself.
Take a walk with me through my struggle of survival. As if that wasn't enough, I got to deal with rivals. Every day I live it like it was my last. I think about the future, but I don't forget about the past.
I just got back into racing again this year after 2.5 years off. That wasn't by my choice. I was banned for an anabolic steroid. It turns out this steroid is called nandrolone, and the questions abound. In Canada, there's not even a trial for it, so I couldn't do a thing about it. It's pretty frustrating. So, of course, I was upset, but I was also really, really mad. So now we find that in 2005, the World Anti-Doping Body has changed their nandrolone test, and they're admitting now that it's possible to test false positive at levels up to 10 nanograms, which mine was 7.5, so I'm definitely pursuing that at the moment, looking into it with my lawyer. In the past, I've been known as maybe the one who speaks very little but carries a heavy stick. So that's just how I like to do things. So I'm going to let my race results in the future speak for it. I'm going to kick some
Eneco Llanos, getting lonely out front, doesn't realize the pack is gaining ground. Brent McMahon. Right behind him, Olivier Marceau and Seth Wheeling. Still in fifth, but gaining momentum, Conrad Stoltz is unstoppable. Off-road means obstacle course. Overlooking Lake Tahoe, the single-track flume trail, a 4.4-mile section carved into sheer granite rock. Melanie McQuaid is finding her biking legs and jockeying for second with fellow pro Jessica Harrison. Jamie Whitmore, not at all where she expected to be at this point, but she knows this course better than anyone, and she has the altitude advantage. Started the flume trail for Barb Lindquist. McQuaid and Whitmore nowhere in sight. Giant boulders and a 1,600-foot drop-off make for a dangerous ride and force competitors to a mandatory dismount. A punishing race course where exhaustion and altitude sickness go hand in hand. Some can handle it, many can't. For the amateur athletes, Xterra is a passion, an addiction. For Reno trial lawyer Kent Robison, it's more than a race, it's a lifestyle.
Kent Robison, the athlete, is maybe the luckiest guy on the planet. Since 1976, I've completed 52 marathons. I've completed in 242 triathlons. There's only one that I DNF'd, didn't finish. I competed in, I'd say, somewhere around 20 duathlons. Got a couple bowling trophies and a marble championship trophy to boot. I try not to ever get my profession confused with my recreation. If I'm racing, there's not going to be one thought in my head about being a lawyer. And when I'm in the courtroom, it's just the opposite. I'm wishing I was on the bike, I'm wishing I'm running, and that gets me through the day, through the trial, and through the year. If the local judges knew how many times I was there with my bike clothes underneath my suit and tie, I think they'd be amazed. They have no idea what's really going on. I find myself changing clothes in public restrooms, in rental cars, in bushes, and I can squeeze in an 8-mile run in the middle of a deposition and people don't even know I've been gone. Let's see, I've been doing this 25 years. I'll be pretty good at it in about another 10 or 15 years. I think I'll peak.
How you doing, Ken?
Good. Another 2,000 feet and I'll be fine. My rock. Right there. That's a swim. Choppy. It was fun though. That's what makes it Xterra. Hard. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Trailing the chase group in the yellow and blue jersey, Olivier Marceau, one of 6 Olympians competing here today. And he's the reigning Xterra European champion. He's expecting a podium finish. A tightly grouped pack of 4 winding their way through the Flume Trail, trading leads along the mandatory dismount sections. Seth Wheeling allows the pass. Conrad Stoltz re-energized, refocused, his sights set on catching leader Eneko Llanos and taking back the race. Nestled along the north shore of Lake Tahoe, rustic incline village, surrounded by breathtaking views and year-round adventures for outdoor enthusiasts. The Hyatt Regency's Lakefront Mountain Hotel, where guests can enjoy action-packed casinos or relax in the tranquility of lakeside dining. The Hyatt Regency Lake Tahoe Resort, base camp for the Nissan Xterra USA Championship. Marlette Lake, the halfway point on the bike, and Spain's Eneko Llanos has been flying solo from the moment he started the race. It's a lonely road to the top, and he's liking it. Barb Lindquist also enjoying the solitude. She's surprised she's made it this far without a single challenger up to this point. South African Conrad Stoltz at Marlette Lake, which means Eneko Llanos is about to get some company. And for just a moment, Janos, doing a double take, can't believe what he's seeing. Conrad Stoltz, powerhouse. Xterra can be a race where it all boils down to sheer luck. With so many obstacles, flat tires are a guarantee. And so it is with Brent McMahon. A second or first place finish seems certain, but not anymore. It will take him 6 full minutes to make the repair, and that is insurmountable. Canadian Melanie McQuaid has 2 things to think about right now. Rival Jamie Whitmore, right behind her. And the second problem, where is women's leader Barb Lindquist? And why haven't they caught up to her yet? Mike Vine reaches Marlette Lake. He's moved into 6th place overall for the men. Clocking impressive speeds, he's finding his stride. For him, the race is just getting started. Spain's Eneco Llanos with a comfortable lead, which is beginning to get a little uncomfortable, thanks to Conrad Stoltz. Llanos knows Stoltz owns the downhill portion of this race. He's not sure if he can hold him off. Seth Wheeling, not to be counted out just yet. He's keeping up with Stoltz for now. Jamie Whitmore and Melanie McQuaid sharing a tense moment at Marlette Lake.
When Melanie and I are riding next to each other, it's the biggest silence in the world. Sometimes it's the longest part of the race when you're neck and neck with someone like Melanie and no words are being exchanged.
Mike Vine, leapfrogging forward, only 4 competitors to go. His immediate goal is to pass Olivier Marceau on the downhill. At this point, all bets are off. Barb Lindquist is proving to be more than just a distraction for the rest of the pro women. She's still on top. The Xterra Off-Road Sports Festival, filled with activities for the whole family. At the expo, athletes learn the art of Xterra from seasoned professionals and get the latest styles at the Paul Mitchell Cut-a-thon. Xterra's partnership with Paul Mitchell raises funds at cut-a-thons across the country to benefit the Challenged Athletes Foundation. Support for physically challenged competitors to help them reach their athletic goals. South African Conrad Stoltz making a huge comeback. Passes Spain's Eneco Llanos at the beginning of the downhill. It's the first time Llanos has had to give it up in this race. Mike Vine now in 3rd. At this point, he has made up over a minute on the bike. Barb Lindquist approaching the top. with a little bit of dread. Downhill on a mountain bike is not exactly her specialty. Jamie Whitmore knows it, and so does Melanie McQuaid. Both second and third positions about to make their move.
I gotta get down now, I just can't wait now. I gotta get down 'cause I'm a running late. And I gotta get down, my mind nothing to stay, yeah. Gotta get down now.
Conrad Stoltz doing what he does best. Nobody does downhill like Stoltz. Nobody. Not even Eneko Llanos. Bombing the downhill separates the men from the boys. Stoltz first into transition and not sure if he's making good time. Llanos not certain if he'll be able to bridge the minute and a half between them. At this pace, Mike Vine will be posting the second fastest time for the bike segment, an unbelievable accomplishment in this field of elite athletes. Llanos entering transition. He has 2 laps in a 10-kilometer trail run to chase down Stoltz. Every year, Stoltz cramps on the run. Blame it on the bike or the altitude. Either way, it factors into his race. He knows better than to be overconfident right now. The women's first position is overtaken by American Jamie Whitmore, navigating the course, making it look easy. Stoltz and Llanos sharing a brief moment on the run course. Llanos still behind, but not bothered by the shin splints that derailed his season only a few months ago. Melanie McQuaid handling the technical sections with conviction. Barb Lindquist now in third. She knew this was inevitable. Her lack of mountain biking experience beginning to show. Vine started the bike in 13th position, and now he's in third. With every sure-footed step, Stoltz maneuvers closer to a victory. The Nissan Xterra USA Championship is presented by Nissan, who invite you to shift the way you move through the world. Paul Mitchell. Remember, only your salon can guarantee the real Paul Mitchell. And by Xterra Gear. Live more at xterragear.com. Scramble through the forest in a 10K trail run. It's the last leg of the Nissan Xterra USA Championship. Frontrunner Conrad Stoltz is laying down a fast first lap and hoping that will be enough to stay ahead. But Eneko Llanos keeping up and then some. Melanie McQuaid shredding the downhill. About 45 seconds behind first place Jamie Whitmore, hoping to carry that momentum into the run. He posted the second fastest bike split, but now he's paying for it. Mike Vine is not sure his legs will hold up. The race has turned into a battle between two men, searching for an untapped reservoir of speed, pushing beyond their limitations. And that's what Xterra is all about.
Yeah, the thing's got air. Oh my gosh, yeah.
You okay?
Just got a cramp.
Whitmore, first for the women into transition. Rival McQuaid getting a grip on the situation.
Look at this, Nico Llanos is right on the heels. He is caught up. Nico Llanos and Jamie Whitmore going up to the line.
About a minute, 30 seconds down.
American Jamie Whitmore. She usually makes the trail run look easy, but cramps are also weighing her down. She pushed harder on the bike than she's used to, sacrificing her running legs to get ahead. He passed 10 pro competitors to secure the third-ranked spot, and that's just where Mike Vine is going to stay. He's all out of time. Llanos is feeling pretty good right now. He didn't expect to catch Stoltz, but he did. And then he passed him. Outplayed and outrun, Conrad Stoltz surrendering the race. Spain's Nico Llanos, conquering the Nissan Xterra USA Championship for the second year in a row. A second-place finish for South African Conrad Stoltz is good enough for the overall Xterra Point Series title. Canadian Mike Vine, earning a hard-fought third-place finish.
out there with Seth Wheeling.
First American pro crossing the line, Seth Wheeling.
What happened?
Oh, God.
Take a spill?
I went down as hard as I've ever gone down in my life.
Where?
Tunnel Creek. God dang it.
You keep going?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep going.
Pain is a great motivating factor for Kent Robinson, if he can make it through the trail run.
Where's my front?
God.
Okay.
The trail run typically brings down Melanie McQuaid, but in this race, she's emerging confident and skilled, and she's running down her opponent. The gloves are off, and it all boils down to these two, Melanie McQuaid and arch rival Jamie Whitmore. Barb Lindquist coming out of an unplanned dip in the creek. Her mental game is fine. She's already exceeded her own expectations.
Nice, Jamie, nice.
Jamie J-Dog Whitmore capturing her 4th consecutive win here at Lake Tahoe. She's the women's undisputed Nissan Xterra USA champion. Trailing by only 35 seconds, Canadian Melanie McQuaid in the closest women's race this course has ever seen. American triathlete star Barb Lindquist in her very first Xterra finish. Happy she's come out relatively unscathed. They come from an elite tribe, united in the spirit of adventure. Xterra, live more.